Some things in Disney World are downright terrible, but I'm going to tell you to do them anyway. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. There are a million things to do at Disney World, and some of the things on this list might be on your must-do list anyway. But for a lot of people, these might not even make it on the maybe list. For every totally amazing thing there is to do at Disney World, there are probably at least 3 you might want to skip. Not these ones, my friends. Here are 13 terrible things I highly recommend in Disney World. All right, my first one, you guys, is getting up way too early. For some people, getting up before the sun on vacation is relaxing, but I think most of us are looking for a little more leisurely start to our day, which is why getting up way too early on your day off seems totally terrible. If you're not a morning person, you're going to be tempted to hit the snooze button, but try not to do it. Getting up way early at Disney has some big payoffs. Arriving at the park for rope drop means you beat most of the crowds. Right now, as we're just at the beginning of the park's reopening, a lot of people are showing up really early to make the most of their park day. As things start to settle and it's a mix of the Disney diehards and regular vacationers, this tip will likely come back. But we've seen wait times start to go down at the end of the day, though they're pretty low throughout the day right now anyway. If you're headed to Hollywood Studios and your ultimate goal is to ride Rise of the Resistance, you'll still want to arrive before the park opens, so you have 3 opportunities to grab that boarding pass to ride. They've released a limited number of virtual queue spots at 10 a.m., park open, 1 p.m., and 4 p.m. So if you want to ride Rise of the Resistance and have as many opportunities as possible to get a boarding pass, you're going to want to get there early. Now, if you need breakfast before you hit the parks, getting up early lets you get one of the first reservations at the restaurant. Bonus, it'll be even less crowded if you hit it right after the restaurant opens. And you might even be able to finish up before the park you're going to opens for the day. Hollywood Studios opens at 10 a.m. right now and Epcot at 11 a.m. So while getting up way too early is kind of beneficial right now when the parks are just getting into reopening, it's going to be really beneficial if you're headed to Disney World in 2021, assuming things get a little bit back to normal by then. All right, the next terrible thing I highly recommend, splurging on something you'd never do otherwise. Disney is super expensive, so adding an extra splurge on there might seem ridiculous. But if you're able to save on one part of your trip, say you get a great discount on your room, you could spring for a VIP tour that will guarantee you get to ride everything you want to. The private VIP tours are even offering the ability to visit multiple parks in one day, and this is the only way you're going to be able to do that right now as park hopping isn't happening. Now, at $425 to $750 per hour with a 7-hour minimum, this one is definitely pricey. But you can bring up to 10 people total, so find some other friends that you are comfortable being around all day, willing to splurge. Maybe you're not planning on hitting the parks every day and you'll be spending a good amount of time in your hotel room, then splurge on the best room. Each resort is going to have a best room. We've got a whole video on that if you need help finding them. But maybe you'll want to splurge on a resort you've always dreamed of staying at, even if just for one night. All right, next terrible thing I highly recommend, splurging on something you'd never eat or drink otherwise. When you think Disney food, you might think Dole Whip, corn dog nuggets, and churros, but there are a whole lot of fine dining and splurges to be had in Disney dining. If you're celebrating something special at Disney World, consider going all out on a fancy dinner. Or hey, even if you're just celebrating being on vacation, that's a reason to treat yourself. Disney has plenty of fine dining restaurants, California Grill, Narcoossee's, Chico, but the creme de la creme is Victoria and Albert's at the Grand Floridian. This small restaurant is one of the only AAA 5-diamond restaurants in Florida. I believe there are 2 of them in the whole state right now. The menu is a 10 to 12 course prefixed chef's menu with optional wine pairing or $120 glacial water. They've got a whole water menu. It's crazy. You ask them about the $120 water, and I guess it gets tapped from like this glacier like one time of year when the sun is setting exactly right or something. It's crazy what they have to do to get this water, but that's why it costs $120. The cost is $235 total per person for Victoria and Albert, so it's pretty steep, and that doesn't include the water, FYI. But you likely won't experience anything else like this restaurant. Not down for a super expensive dinner? Opt for a fancy drink with appetizers. You'll find unique options at the Enchanted Rose Lounge at the Grand Floridian, where they have tableside cocktails. Morimoto Asia has some specialty whiskeys that you won't find anywhere else. And La Cava del Tequila basically has plenty of pricey tequila shots and other exclusive drinks. Even splurging on a dessert when you're usually cutting down the sugar at home can make vacation feel more like a vacation, and you're allowed to have a cheat day at Disney. Now, I don't want to mess with your diet or your new way of life. I just want you to know it's okay to take care of yourself and to treat yourself when you're at Disney World. Definitely don't feel bad about it. Also, FYI, just so you know, at the time that I'm recording this, Victoria and Albert's, Narcoossee's, and Chico are not open at the moment, but they will open in a bit. They will open later. So if you're planning a trip for next year or the following year, then you can definitely consider those as your splurge meals. All right, the next terrible thing, I highly recommend taking an entire day off of work, social media, or just being connected. I know this more than anybody else. I feel like it is very hard to completely disengage from work when you are on vacation. It's hard to put the phone down, turn off those notifications. And for some people, it's nearly impossible, but trust me, it is worth it. You've spent so much money on your Disney vacation and you're with your family, even if you are spending months at home with them right now. Disney vacations are something special, and you should spend your time enjoying that and not scrolling through Instagram, unless that's the thing that makes you the happiest of anything right now. So definitely take a day off of work. Let yourself take that time off. Let yourself just sort of say, hey, work colleagues, I am not going to be available today. I am spending the entire day with my family, because so many of us right now are so connected, especially since we're working virtually, that the lines are kind of always open for that urgent email or that important conference call. So take the day off. Let yourself take the day off. It sounds terrible, but I promise you'll be so happy you did it. All right, next terrible thing I highly recommend in Disney World, spend a day of your vacation just sitting. Yeah, you're spending a ton of money to be at Disney World, but there's nothing more restorative than reading a good book by the pool or on the balcony. Build one day onto your vacation where you don't have a park ticket and you just veg out. Start with a room service breakfast and then just relax. If you can't spend a whole day doing nothing, go shopping at Disney Springs or plan a day at the spa. Disney World doesn't have to be go, go, go. Take some time to unwind, or else you're going to need a vacation from your vacation. And I know that we've all felt that before because we're all Disney fans. So make it okay for yourself to just chill out at the hotel. Maybe if you're stressed out that you're going to have a park ticket and you're going to be staying in an expensive hotel, maybe book one extra day at a hotel at the beach instead of in Disney World, and give yourself that time to really detox and relax. You know, a lot of people do that half Disney World, half beach vacation. So that might be a good way to make sure you have some time where you don't feel guilty about just chilling out. All right, next terrible thing I highly recommend is riding Mission Space. Thrill rides aren't for everyone, and spinning simulator rides are probably for an even smaller group, but don't write this ride off as worth skipping. If you're really not into enclosed spaces or you get easily motion sick, okay, we'll let it slide and say you skipped this one. But if there's not really a reason you haven't ridden it, give it a shot. This ride was actually engineered with the help of NASA astronauts who said it's the closest thing to actual space travel you can get. Basically, it's nearly as realistic as their flight training simulators. There are two sides of this ride. The green side's going to be much less intense, so you won't feel the G-forces. It's great for younger kids or if you're not sure how the motion's going to make you feel. But if you're up for it, the orange side produces 2.5 Gs. For comparison, astronauts experience about 3 Gs during takeoff. Next terrible thing I highly recommend, plastic cheese. This guilty pleasure food might seem totally terrible to a lot of people, but we here at DFB nicknamed it plastic cheese due to the fact that it literally looks plastic. We get it, it's not appetizing to everyone, but man is this stuff good. It's bright orange, bizarrely melty. You'll find it all over Disney World, but the piping hot cups dipped out by cast members at Casey's Corner and Flame Tree Barbecue are the best. You can also get a prepackaged cup with a Mickey pretzel at literally every pretzel cart in the parks. So if you like cheesy stuff, give it a try. You won't regret it, even if it only kind of resembles something edible. I've been calling this plastic cheese for 15 years, and I've always loved it. Okay, next terrible thing I highly recommend are those bubble wands. Disney bubble wands. If you've got a kid, you probably have at least one of these lying around the house, and it's probably leaking all over the place. Bubble wands can be found at many merch shops and of course in those carts that get pushed around before parades and shows with all the light up stuff. It glows, it bubbles, every kid's gonna beg for it, it's probably not worth your money, everybody around you is probably gonna hate you because they're getting hit in the face with bubbles, but it will probably make your kids so happy, and at the end of the day, a smiling kiddo is probably worth every cent. And the next terrible thing I highly recommend, you've heard me talk about this before, blue milk, the snack that makes every must-eat list for Disney World, and it's totally terrible. Well, it's not terrible, but it's definitely an acquired taste. It's absolutely iconic. It's the one food item in Galaxy's Edge that is instantly recognizable to Star Wars diehards and casual fans. It's kind of required that you get it at least once, if just for that photo. The flavor is super weird. It's kind of floral, kind of fruity, one of those you can't really tell if you like it, but you can't stop drinking it kind of things. And you can get it spiked or not. You can also get that green milk, which has an even more divided audience on the flavor. Next thing I highly recommend in Disney World, skipping those fireworks. Can't currently skip the fireworks because there are no fireworks to skip right now, but during parades or fireworks shows when they come back is a great time to get some more rides in when the lines are short. I know, fireworks are the way to end your day at the parks, but you can get a lot done while everyone else is watching the show. Everyone fills out the theater or claims their spot for the fireworks, and those ride wait times drop. If you've seen the fireworks before, or you just don't care that much, go hop in line for a ride that's had a longer wait all day. Even if it's not super short, it will definitely be lower than it is at midday. Plus, if fireworks close the park, you get to leave when it's a lot less crowded if your line took a while to get through. So yes, we do believe the fireworks will be back in Disney World, and we do believe the lines will get longer than they are currently. So file this away for the next time you plan a trip during normal time. All right, next terrible thing I highly recommend is pixie dusting. At Sir Mickey's in Magic Kingdom, you can get a little extra magic that's totally free, but you'll be cleaning it up for a long time. You can go in the shop and ask any cast member for some pixie dust, and they'll wave a wand over your kiddo's head or yours, we're not judging, ask them to make a wish, and sprinkle some pixie dust on their head. You'll find glitter in the weirdest places for days, but it's Disney, so it's practically required. This is another thing that's not happening right now, but we do expect it will be back. And the next terrible thing I highly recommend, dressing up when you get the chance. Costumes for adults are a big no-no in Disney World. They don't want you to be mistaken for an actual character and have kids running up to you for autographs when you're definitely not the real Cinderella and won't act like her. There are exceptions to the no one over 14 may wear a costume rule though, and those are parties at the Magic Kingdom. Halloween parties aren't happening this year, but that's the only time adults can wear full costumes, so long as there are no long capes, weapons, or costume masks that cover your full face. You might be inclined to not wear a costume, especially if you're going to one of the early parties in August because you don't want to be the weirdo in a full costume waiting for the bus. But seriously, take advantage of getting to dress up. Once you get into Magic Kingdom, it's Halloween, even if it's 99 degrees in August. So get in the spirit. It's more fun for you and for your kids and for your family and for everyone at the party. And the last terrible thing I highly recommend in Disney World are those giant lollipops. This is another one like the bubble wand. Every kid's gonna want one, and you'll look at it thinking, yeah, sure, we can finish this before we get home. You can't, my friends. Every trip I end up with one wrapped up in a gift bag because it's all sticky and half licked, but they're really hard to resist. There's something so fun about giant lollipops, and a blue tongue and carrying around a weird sticky bag are small prices to pay for a smile. So there are a bunch of really, a lot of people think terrible things that I highly recommend in Disney World. Some of them are just rites of passage. Some of them are things you really should consider thinking about if it's never been on your radar before. And like I said before, because Disney World's so different right now, some of these things might not be available, but I know that all of these will come back. They will come back hopefully soon. And that's what we're all about here, is planning for the future. So thank you guys for listening. Thanks for watching. If you have done some of these things in Disney World, we'd love to see it in the comments. Let us know how you've treated yourself. If you've taken a day to just sit and chill and not worry about getting fast passes or getting in the parks or experiencing everything in Disney World. We'd love to hear your stories. Let us know what you dressed up as for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. These are all great ways for the rest of our viewers to get good ideas and to help them plan their trips as well. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.